Hello and welcome to Psychology in Seattle. I'm your host, Kirk Honda, professor and licensed therapist.
And I'm Umberto Castañeda. I bake cakes for the king.
Today's episode is about improv therapy, and we have two very special guests with us today. Why don't you introduce yourself, guys?
Hi, I'm Brendan Colber,
I'm Matthew McGee.
and I'm a licensed therapist, but not a professor.
So Britton is a former student of mine from Antioch University and
Yes.
a fantastic therapist. I know him to be because I've actually observed his work and know his clients to
That's
like
nice to
him.
hear.
To know his clients really love him. So, and in talking with him, I discovered that he studied improv
Yep.
before he was a therapist. And he's also developing some classes around improv and therapy for therapists, right?
Yes, improv and therapy for therapists.
Okay, so you talked before the show about doing a improv exercise in which you will teach therapists how to listen better, more with improv as an exercise to help them with that.
So improv is basically a skill set. It's based on a couple of different things, like saying and experiencing yes and. It's also getting a feel for listening and responding as opposed to planning and then evaluating yourself. Ways of listening where you're not thinking about what you're going to say, but you're actually just focused on what the other person is saying. We're going to start with a pretty basic improv game called Zip, Zap, Zop. Zip,
Zap.
Zop,
Zip,
Zap.
zop,
Zip.
zap,
Zop,
Zip.
Zap.
zop.
Okay, excellent. Okay, you get.
That's hard.
You
It's
get
harder
the
than
point.
you think. Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to do something
Word ball.
called word ball.
Papa.
Daddy,
Wah.
Potato.
electricity,
Doesn't.
stop,
Ever.
Why?
Is.
adjective,
Word.
ball,
Palabra.
No.
See. Flesh.
smooth,
Math.
smush.
And stop. Okay, so we've experienced this before. How are you feeling right now?
Well, it was great but I went in waves of sometimes it's just like words just present themselves.
Right.
Sometimes I need a word.
Right.
And of course, the worst example is math because I'm like, I don't know, it's math.
And hang on, from an improv, correct me if I'm wrong, from an improv point of view, that is absolutely the best word you could have come up with.
Right.
And what that really leads to, one of the things that leads to is a kind of honesty and a kind of truth.
I felt some empathy for he's thinking of one. Oh, he's thinking of one. I better help out. Yeah.
One of the major rules of improv is to support your fellow player. So I guess that would come into the empathy kind of category where no matter what it is that you say,
You take
I am going to yes and you. I am going to say not only yes to what you said, I'm going to add something to it in agreement, in building.
Right.
You say the first thing that comes to your mind, and then you connect that with which reminds me of, and you come up with the second thing, and then you pass it.
Okay. Polka dotted shirt.
Polka dotted shirt, which reminds me of bowling.
Bowling, which reminds me of The Big Lebowski, which reminds me of White Russians.
Oh, White Russians, which reminds me of James Bond, which reminds me of an Aston Martin.
An Aston Martin, which reminds me of a BMW, which is, yes, BMW.
BMWs, which remind me of yuppies, which remind me of being wealthy.
Being wealthy, which reminds me of Scrooge McDuck, which reminds me of adventures, which reminds me of shoes.
Shoes, which remind me of feet, which reminds me of stinkiness.
Stinkiness reminds me of cheese.
Cheese, which reminds me of wine, which reminds me of upset, which reminds me of grouchy, which reminds me of crouch.
Okay, so let's pause right there. I know what I'm feeling like. I'm feeling kind of like just a little buzzed and kind of excited from maybe it's energy or I don't know exactly what it is, but there's something that comes from responding and kind of being on your toes.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where you really want to be living in improv, is in a place where you are fully engaged, connected with your people, your troupe, all the ones that are on stage performing with you, and totally fluid in the moment. You can go anywhere.
a couple of times when I've been with a client where they say something really outrageous. I really want to hurt this person. And then, or I really want to hurt myself, which are big old red flags in the therapy world. Instead of kind of put my guard down and go, well, let's develop a safety plan, my first response was to listen and fully accept what they're trying to tell me. Like, okay, tell me more about that. What is it that you're thinking about? What is it that you're feeling?
You can't be gaming, you can't pre-plan, you can't have a nice idea that you got off stage because you heard the offer was SpaghettiOs, and so you've now, in the 3 minutes that you're kind of off stage, or the 30 seconds of turning around and walking to the wall before, as the lights go down before they come back up, and you build this thing in your mind. And you've got this great idea, and then you turn around and you throw what we call an offer out. So I'll say something about, Mom, I'm home from school, and I'm thinking, great, we're going to have this great big warm scene about Cheerios, and somebody else comes off the wall as Mom and goes, shut your mouth and get upstairs and clean your room, or something like that, totally off.
Your dad's turned into a dragon.
Right, it's gone. So my idea, my great thing that I had is now lost. It's gone, and now it's like the inexperienced improviser will fight with you. But Mom, no, I've been really good. I need to have my Cheerios.
Wink.
Right, whatever. And the experienced improviser will go right with it because they're giving you maybe a better offer.
So it's best to basically not even plan anything in that sense.
Exactly, because then it's not improv.
Like, as it applies almost to relationships in a professional environment. So like, take my work. It's a high stakes cake baking for a royal family, right? But the point is there's a lot of opinions and ideas about what kind of cakes they want to make, right? So any given day, someone will walk in and they'll start talking about like, oh, today I was thinking like lemon mustard, right? And your initial instincts professionally often is to be like, terrible idea, stop, right?
And there's nothing quite like doing improvisation in this sort of theatrical thing to illustrate how you can use it in other contexts. Because doing like improvisational theater, improvisational acting, you will get this feedback that's instant. And you will know if you've tried to plan too much because you'll stop or the other people will kind of freeze up because they don't know how to build anything because you just kind of said, that thing that you just made up, it's crap, let's do something else. And you feel it, and then you feel their response to it. And so by kind of spending some time in that instant feedback in kind of context, you start to really develop this like internalized thing of like, oh, I get what this feels like, and I get how other people respond when I accidentally shut them down.
I had an experience, so I write music, and I've had this happen to me several times, not recently luckily, because I feel like I've varied my style a bit. But so I was sitting there collaborating with a friend of mine who's a DJ, and we were collaborating on a track that was totally different style from what I would usually do, and kind of different style from what he would usually do. And so we were working together, and something was coming of it and stuff like that. And then we went our separate ways that day, and I got really excited about it. So that whole night, I stayed up all night working on this thing. And I added bells, and I added whistles, and I added trains and ponies. And by the next morning, with no sleep, I'm like, oh, we created this masterpiece. So like the next time where I send it to him or I have him over or whatever, I'm like, check it out, man. The track we're working on, check it out. And I play him the thing. And I'm like, what? Why is his reaction? Like, he's not saying anything?
Yeah.
And then the track finishes, and he's like, oh, that's pretty good. And then I'm like, and I don't say anything, but I'm like, did he not like it? And then we never finished the track. We didn't collaborate anymore. And I couldn't figure it out. And we literally, like, neither of us really talked about it much, but it was just like, it took me a while to figure out, like, oh, I see. Just like, he might have said something like, oh, it sounds like you just kind of finished it or something,
Right.
But it took me a long time to realize, like, okay, well, that's not how collaboration works. That's the improv of that relationship. And it was funny because I wasn't doing it to be mean. I was excited about it, but I wasn't listening and I wasn't doing the back and forth, right?
Even with whatever you contributed, he also wasn't giving that a yes and either.
Oh, absolutely.
Shortly after that experience, Berto and this DJ asked me to join the band as a
Oh, yes.
improv guitarist.
That's right.
and we played.
That was fun.
It was really fun. We played for hours, like every Friday night at this club, improv dance music.
I played bass. You played guitar. He mixed.
And then we had a percussionist that was pretty great. And it was like super fun because it was just improvising music.
And it wasn't scripted. We like just went with whatever.
And like a lot of it, I'm sure sounded like crap, but sometimes there were these golden moments.
Yep.
Yeah, at least in my head.
Yeah, so that was an improvement over the previous experience. That's for sure.
Yeah, and if I can point out something, and hopefully I'm not, stepping over some boundary or something, but while your facial expression, while you were kind of telling about this thing where you made this kind of epic music thing with the bells and the whistles, and then you were playing it for him, like your face fell, and it looked like, almost like you kind of like got in age to like 8.
How
or
dare
something.
you? How sir dare you?
You know what I mean, though?
Yeah,
You know,
of course,
'cause
no.
it- 'cause
But
it
that is
gives
the
you the
feeling.
vulnerable thing. Yeah.
That's the I bet you that was the feeling for both of us. Like, oh, the toy was taken away from me, or oh, he's playing by himself. Like that feeling, yeah.
And that's why I think it's so amazing that improv somehow gets to this sort of adult attachment stuff, because we're creating on the fly when we're doing improv, and when it kind of gets shut down, it reminds us of old wounds. But if it just keeps being validated, it's like some kind of doors unlock, and it's like, well, I could just keep going on and on.
Right.
And there's something really epic about that feeling.
So through that experience, one might experience attunement with other people and therefore heal wounds as a result, yes?
Yeah, and I don't think it's an accident that, at least in one of my improv classes, about half of the people were involved in engineering some way, like in aerospace or software or otherwise. And I'm not sure exactly what the factors are that lead to it, but I know that, at least from a lot of people that I've spoken with, engineering programs sort of try to push out certain aspects of creativity and spontaneity, because you've got to plan, you've got to think it through, and you've got to be really structured. And
mistakes are expensive.
mistakes, yes, expensive.
If you're winging it, so to speak, you're not doing it right.
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 Yeah, it's almost like there's a pejorative thing, like, oh, we're winging it. Okay,
Yeah.
that's.
Oh, actually,
you
you're
did it
right.
In improv, which is that you're gonna fail. Everybody fails. Fail
Right.
big.
Yeah.
Right.
In music, whenever we would improv, the saying goes, if you make a mistake, repeat the mistake.
Yes. Yes.
Because then it's no longer a mistake. So you hit a blue note, or
Yeah.
a mistaken note. Then you just keep
They're,
playing
yeah,
it.
they're like, oh no, they meant to do
It's a blue note. It's an interesting note. They meant to
Yes.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why if I ever misspoke a word, I'll just misspoke it again.
Let's see. I am playing basketball.
I am a basketball hoop.
I am the referee.
Okay.
I am the referee.
I am the player making the foul.
I am the angry fan. I am the angry fan.
I am the reporter.
I am the object of the angry fan's scorn. I am the object of an angry fan's scorn.
I am the embarrassed photographer.
I am the little girl who is not understanding anything. I am the little girl who just doesn't understand anything.
I am the caring uncle trying to explain to the little girl.
I am the player leaping to catch a ball and landing on the little girl. I am the player leaping to catch the ball and landing on the little girl.
I am the little dog who you confused with the little girl.
I am the photographer capturing the moment forever. I am the photographer capturing the moment forever.
I am a bolt of lightning.
I am proposing to what I thought was my fiance, but in its place is a bolt of lightning. I am proposing to my fiance, but in its place is a bolt of lightning.
I am the ring.
I am the finger for the ring. I am a finger for a ring.
I am Goldfinger sitting next to him.
I am the one ring to rule them all.
Nice.
I am the one ring to rule them all.
I am the second ring to link with the first ring.
I am the ghost of J.R.R. Tolkien, very confused. Okay, let's stop right there.
That's good.
There was a couple of moments where I was starting to plan, and it kind of went a little sideways, and I think someone else saved where it was going. And there was at least one instance where I sort of choked, but I went through and I was describing lightning. So you could tell I was definitely kind of at the edge of my comfort zone, and that's something I just generally work on anyway, is like how to listen and respond and not sort of start planning and or self-evaluating exactly, at the same time, because then that's how you stop. And that's when I believe a client can tell when you have checked out and you're not listening, is when you have your own, it could be countertransference, some kind of a response of like, oh, that reminds me of this other thing. But you've got to really stay in the moment, because that's kind of part of your job as far as like learning the self of the therapist part. Being aware of when you have left, and then being aware of that and jumping back in.
Yeah, I could really see this working for some people. You guys are really good at improv, so it's like it looks smooth and interesting and funny and dynamic, where I would imagine 90% of therapists would be struggling at first. They'd be like, I don't know what to do, or oh, that was stupid what he just said, or feel judged if it doesn't go over well or something. And by developing that muscle, I'm guessing it would help with that attunement to clients and that ability to be authentic and spontaneous with people and not hold back. I think it's a certain listening muscle that I think improv can specifically develop. Yeah.
Because I thought, you're going to do some person that's not going to be my fiance, so it's going to be funny, because I'm going to say, well, I'm proposing to this person. But it threw me for a loop, because you got stuck for a second, then you're lightning, and I'm like, well, I'm proposing to my fiance, but in his place is lightning. And it was kind of one of those moments where, like, because I was trying to plan too much, it was a little like, well, my plan doesn't work, but I guess it can still work. And I can see that, if you're in therapy, if you're the therapist, you're thinking, all right, I gotta ask him. I've been meaning to ask him about his father, right?
Right.
And then he says like, I got fired this week at work. I'm like, but tell me about your father,
Right?
Right? It's
Right.
like, well, my what?
Right,
I got fired.
Yeah, they'll roll with it, but it's
Yeah.
totally
Right.
invalidating to where they are right at that moment.
So I kind of see that.
Could I get a suggestion of a relationship?
Doctor-patient.
Doctor-patient. Okay.
So?
I've come for those test results.
The test results. We have something very special for you.
I'm so nervous.
We have found out that this result means you're actually a monkey. This is all something that is very confusing for me.
Freeze. I just resume.
Yes.
Did you say that is 10,000 years old?
Oh, yes. 10,000 years at least.
And it's gold.
It's definitely gold.
Like pure gold from the Mayan temple.
Well, it's mostly gold.
Wait a minute. What do you mean mostly gold?
Well, you see, Isaac said that you would be really excited about...
What did you say your credentials were?
Freeze. I'm so thirsty.
I don't know. You were kind of mean to me. No. Remember that thing in 3rd grade? Where you're like, that is the stupidest volcano ever?
I'm really, son.
Freeze! I'm gonna let you hang there because you were mean to me, and I know you want a high five right now, but you didn't listen, you didn't clean up your dishes, and you wanted to watch that show, and I told you 3 times not to do that. You know, you left your toys on the ground. I know. But whoa, how did you grow so fast?
Oh, it's vitamins.
Son.
You got me those vitamins.
Oh, I'm so scared now.
Freeze.
Hoi! You are 13 and it's a glorious day. You are now officially a man.
I'm a man.
You are a man.
Hi, gewalt.
Even though you're only 13 and your
What
voice
about
is a
it?
little squished.
I get a little priest.
Is that where I hit you? Like, so that's why you can't talk. So my martial arts is working. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just showing you that. But I haven't learned that part of the martial art. I don't know how to revive people yet. I'm just trying to like learn how the hits work.
Freeze.
Should I?
Okay. How to do CPR. Okay. Okay. Hang on. No. Hang on. Yeah. Dang it. Okay. And yeah, and then I
Freeze! All right, so I have to. Here. I don't think you will find what you're looking for there.
oh
I hit it.
you did?
Yes, and so you could take my heart out, but it's not there anymore.
Man,
And not only that, but I've lost the ability to fly.
you lost the ability to fly.
Yes, I mean I can show
It's the
you.
weirdest spy situation
I can show you.
ever.
Watch. So that doesn't work.
No flying at all.
Doesn't work.
What?
And I used to be able to do it, like the monkeys in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I want the power, and I got it. You remember the spell?
Yeah, the spell.
Doesn't work anymore. I don't know what happened.
Sucks. What's the warranty on that?
Well, they didn't specify a warranty, and I was sure that I was gonna have to like go sue them and stuff.
I mean, and Best Buy really tries to hammer that warranty.
Oh, it wasn't Best Buy.
Well, no wonder.
It was Buy's Best.
Buy's
And
Best?
that's an online site I found. I thought it was Best Buy.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the problem because I was sure that it was gonna work just like advertised.
Right.
And then the other thing is, they stole the thing we talked about. They stole
They
it.
stole that thing?
They stole it, yeah. Now you can blame me all you want, but I had 3 turns of the key, right?
Okay,
3 turns
yes.
of the key.
Well, come on, but you still have to give me that thing, that I'm looking for. That,
All right,
You
well,
said
so-
it's not in your heart.
It's not in my heart.
Can I check your pants? Is that gonna be awkward?
Well, you can check my pants all you want, but I flew them up to the mountain, and I'm telling you, I can't fly back
She
there.
flew it there, and you
Yes,
can't come
I
back.
can't fly back there. So now, you could either try the spells yourself,
Okay.
or you could, go to the same Buys Best, or,
Freeze. Oh, this headache is killing me.
I have the solution. You just gotta stay still, stay still.
All right, I won't
Okay,
move
I'm gonna
a bit.
extract. I have these powerful hands,
Powerful
and I can
hands.
extract.
And if you just massage it in thoroughly, all the hair comes back.
Really?
It's amazing!
I can feel it in the back already.
Doesn't it tingle?
Oh, folks at home.
Please. I think it's coming. I got it. Okay.
Ew.
So no, it's not a pimple. I know. Can you see it? It's this golden hair.
That's so cool.
It started growing yesterday. It's real gold.
It's gold?
Yeah, I've had another one. I took
We
it
should
off.
take it to one of those booths and, just where they're always trying to, we'll buy gold. You bring some hair.
That's a good idea.
Right.
But
I'm sorry,
I don't know if
please.
they give you a good deal there. Because the thing is and I know the golden goose story, so don't kill me for that.
Oh,
'cause
right. I
if
would
you let
never
it grow.
do that. Never.
Wait, that sounds ominous.
No.
That sounds even more
No,
ominous.
no.
Oh, that sounds 20 times as ominous. Listen,
No, you're fine. I would.
do you have any sort of thing to make my hair grow faster? Because then we could really
Yes, absolutely. Look right there.
Freeze. Gonna keep going?
Okay, let's figure this out.
But so that is that something would you go actually that far with teaching therapists, or is this more of a
Right, I would go that far mostly just to illustrate the feeling of really being out kind of on the edge of your comfort zone, having just whatever come out, because then you'll have this sort of felt sense of, okay, what that is like, and then you can respond authentically but responsibly.
So I could really see this working, not only training therapists how to listen better, but also in family and couple therapy. If you actually just taught clients how to improv, it's just like an exercise. It's like, oh, I'm going to do something interesting today. I'm going to teach you how to improv, and you teach like basic improv, and maybe over a few sessions, you get them out of the nervousness of it all. I could really see it becoming a very bonding experience or telling experience. If one person in the family always drags it to a halt, or one person in the family seems to dominate, or one person in the family tends to be overly compliant or something, then you as a therapist have this opportunity to comment on it, or to even affect change in that way. It's like, okay, this time we're going to improv, but Dad, he's the dominant one. I want you to always play the child in this. Just throwing it out there. This is just me.
Except it's Stewie.
Yeah. And so I need you. So I just give that a try. And then afterwards, really asking each individual how that felt. It's like, Dad, how did that feel? Oh, it felt like vulnerable and strange for me. Hey, daughter, how did it feel to have Dad play the child in this one? I don't know, it felt kind of good to have him finally like shut up and actually like have to listen to me. It felt really good. What does that say about, your relationship? I don't know, I feel like my dad's just constantly trying to control me or something. This is just one example. There was this moment where you guys were improvising, and I can't remember who it was. I think it was you, Berto. It seemed like something real was coming out of you or something, like some kind of transference or something. And I could imagine that in therapy, group therapy with strangers, or even in family therapy, that the spontaneity would sort of unleash some suppressed feelings that might be therapeutic to get out. Having said that, I could see it also being quite vulnerable and scary. Absolutely. And the therapist would have to be quite adept at being able to, contain the situation.
Was it the golden hair? Because if it was, I'm rich.
No, there was like some moment where you got kind of angry or something. I can't remember what it was, but it just seemed to be like some real material there. But I could see that happen, especially as you guys went on and on, like, because some of the activities you did went on for 10 minutes or so. I could see as time went on, like your defenses would just start to just wash away, because you're getting wary and you're just in the moment and you're reacting.
And you're validated.
Yeah, and people are with you. And then over time, like you're disoriented to some extent, and then your normal defenses can't really keep it at bay. And then all of a sudden, like all this stuff just comes out, which again, if it could be a good thing. I could imagine being a very good thing, but I could also imagine it being a very risky, scary thing for people. But
absolutely, my first experience where I really started connecting the dots between psychology and improvisation was when I was at a workshop. I was the guy who volunteered to tell the story. Well, I just recently had a pretty bad breakup, and so I told the story of that and some other things and events that happened shortly after that. And then other improvisers jumped in and validated that experience. And so other people, somebody else played me, somebody else played the girlfriend, and then I was watching my life sort of unfold differently in front of me. And then I jumped in and played like other characters or a friend. Whoa. And it was just absolutely transforming. And it was actually one of the experiences that led me to, maybe I should actually be a therapist.
Well, thanks, Britton and Matt, for coming on the podcast and talking about improv therapy. I thought that was pretty interesting, right? Was that interesting?
Yeah, it was fascinating.
I think you should take an improv class, because I think you'd be
would I like it?
Interested in it. So thanks, Britton and Matt, for coming on the podcast.
Bye.
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 Bye.